I'm going to take some time because I'm opening our live on YouTube right now. It's very nice to receive people like you here with us. This live, people, is also being transferred on, is also being streamed on YouTube, right? So people, now I'm here to talk to you about the strategies for communication. And there are a lot of different strategies for us to speak better, for us to have different strategies, different ways to talk about the same thing. People from Instagram, sometimes I'm going to be looking at the camera on my computer because I'm talking with people from both social media. I don't know if Cliff is able to come with us, but as he didn't arrive yet again, because after the bug here, he didn't come back. Hello, hello, Juliana. It's very nice to have you here. Our live is being streamed on YouTube and also on Instagram. All right. So one of the first strategies we teach here at Seminole is how to introduce yourself. How to introduce yourself, what you need to say if you are in a job interview, talking to a friend. So when you need to introduce yourself, this is one of the strategies we need to know and to dominate. And this is one of the structure of a training Seminole has. Seminole is a company, a very important company in English markets, to help you to communicate better. And then I would like to invite you, if you are not subscribed on our YouTube channel, please subscribe it, know our job, and invite your friends to also know Seminole Job. We are going to have a challenge, a communication challenge that begins on October 1st and goes until October 15th. And we are going to talk, I'm bringing here what's the content you are going to see on this challenge. If it is important for you, if you want to communicate better, do this challenge with us. Stay here with me to the end of this live because I'm going to tell you every information you need to know for you to make part of this group of people, of very brave people that are coming here with us. So Seminole started its operations in 2016, in July of 2016. I started this project as a normal English school. We worked with people from 8 to 80, and it was a very, very nice school at that time. When the pandemic arrived, we needed to change our goals, our objectives, and we started working on some different things. We started working on only with professional public, people who work from multinationals, people who really need to talk to people abroad. And then we started this. Cliff, let's go on live with me. Okay. I'm talking about the story of Seminole. And then when the pandemic came, we started working with professional people. And then we decided to have this kind of service to help other people to achieve their goals in communication. This is our story, and I would like to invite who is there on Instagram to subscribe on our channel on YouTube. So this is Cliff I want to introduce Cliff. I'm Andrea. We are from Seminole English for Professionals, and we are here to tell you something about a very different course, in reality, a workshop. We are working with some moments during the year, and now we are going to launch it again. So, as I told you, I'm Andrea and Cliff, and we are the owners of Seminole English for Professionals. I accepted you here. Okay. People, sometimes we are looking at our computer camera and sometimes at cell camera because we are streaming in both social media, okay? And then, people, as I told you in the very beginning, we are going to have a challenge, a 15-day communication challenge. And we are going to talk a little bit what we have in this workshop. The first thing we are going to work on is how to introduce yourself, strategies for introducing. And then we are going to work on what is communication. Would you like to talk about this issue, Cliff? What's communication?
The basic idea of communication is that you have a speaker and listener, and you need to communicate ideas. When we imagine one-way communication, it's not real communication. You need to be able to express yourself in a way that the other person can receive and understand and process. Communication is a set of acts of presenting and a set of acts of listening and receiving.
I think we are having the return of Instagram.
Yeah, I'm having a technical issue.
Yes, today a lot of technical issues. It's not. Cliff, when you talk, who is watching our live? Are you listening to Cliff twice or only once? Cliff, how is the sound for you?
There's a 5-second delay from Zoom to Instagram.
Yeah, but put your headset on the computer. It's better.
The headset's on the computer.
Okay. Now it's better. So then, please, sorry, I cut you down about what's communication.
No, I talked about the two roles in communication, because communication is not just one way. You have a person who is presenting information and a person or an audience who is receiving it. An effective communication is really about a relationship, a connection between those people.
Okay. And then there is something very interesting that is also on our workshop. It's about the hormones that interfere in communication and motivation. There are different hormones. We are not going to talk about it now because it's going to be delivered on our workshop, okay?
In the workshop.
Oh, yeah, in the workshop. And then we invite you to know this issue with us. Another important thing, okay, Cliff, would you like to talk a little bit about hormones?
That a kind of highly scientific side is interesting because the flow of hormones in your brain greatly controls your behavior. So when communication is effective, it triggers the right hormonal response in the listener and in the speaker. We're going to give a lot more detail about that in the workshop, right? But there is a reason to go into it. in that detail.
Yes. And
Another
so,
super important message is body language. When you communicate, and I think it's something like 55% of the information is from body language.
yeah, I don't remember the exact number, but it's a lot.
More than half of your information comes from your body language. So a lot of times we focus really specifically on the words we choose, but we don't pay enough attention to our posture. Because if I have a duck down posture and my head is down, I'm going to show I'm not connecting to you. And if I have an open posture with my shoulders back, my chest open, I show that I'm having a connection with you. Right? And these are basic things about establishing communication with someone. Because you could have the best words in the world. If you give that emo presentation, the people aren't going to accept it.
Yeah.
Right.
And even when you are like a zombie, you also show a different image that you are not effective, competitive, and brave. So people take care about it. It's very important to take care about your appearance, about your the way you use your shoulders, your smile, and it's very important. In our workshop, we are also going to talk about Dunning-Kruger effect. Cliff knows a lot how to talk about it, so it's our time again.
Basically, the Dunning-Kruger in the end of the 20th century, they did a series of studies, and if I'm not mistaken, it's Northwestern University and University of Pennsylvania. And what they showed was that the less competency we have in an area of knowledge, the more we exaggerate our competencies. So if I know almost nothing about something, I believe that I'm almost as competent as a doctor in the area. But if I know just a little bit about the subject, I understand that there's a big difference between me and a doctor in the area. The other side of the Dunning-Kruger effect is people who are highly competent often imagine other people are highly competent. So this leads to that situation of a doctor basically telling his patient, "You're dying of cancer." And the patient leaves the office smiling because the doctor uses words like prognosis and slang words, not slang, sorry, jargon words, that the average person doesn't really understand. So if we, like English teachers like Andrea and I, for us to throw around grammar words is really easy. And it's easy for us to expect that you know the grammar words. But in fact, think back to your Portuguese class in high school. You don't know the grammar words, right? The average person doesn't know. So the Dunning-Kruger effect has these two sides, where when we know nothing, we think we are better than we are. And when we know a lot, we exaggerate other people's understanding.
So we are going to have this in our workshop too. That is gonna be from October 1st to October 15th. So don't lose it. And we are also going to talk about communication ranges. This, I invite you to go to our LinkedIn because we have an article posted there about it. And this talks about the different the different range of communication that we have when we talk with ourselves, with only one person, with more than one person, with a big audience, or even with everybody, because these days we can talk to people with a click all around the world. We can talk to people worldwide.
The example of Mick Jagger from the Rolling Stones talking about the difference between acting in a movie and performing on stage. When Mick Jagger is on stage, he's performing to 80,000 people, and his performance has to be gigantic to show the people the emotion that he wants to show. But when he's acting in a movie, the image, the level that he has is personal. So he has to really reduce his emotional range to adequately communicate what it is he's saying.
And also in our workshop, we are going to work on the 3 pathways of communication and the 3 pillars of argument that are also strategies for us to communicate better.
Yeah, the 3 pillars of argument go back to Aristotle, right? You can make appeals to logic, you can make appeals to emotion, and you can make appeals to morality. Clearly, we'll go into much more detail, but this is an idea that goes back to ancient Greek public speaking, right? And it's something that's held up for 2,500 years.
And also I say this is a very interesting and funny moment of our workshop is when we work with pitch. This is something I like very much. Companies use a lot of pitches in the commercial area, but pitch is not only for this. For example, today a person asked me about help in job interviews abroad. And it's not on my LinkedIn, it was on yours, Cliff. And then he asked me, can you help me? Because I believe I'm not getting any job abroad because my English is not good. So he's gonna talk to you, of course. And then we need to have a pitch to introduce ourselves. Hello, Adriano. Adriano, we are streaming on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and also on Instagram, okay? That's why sometimes I'm not looking at the camera of
I've been just looking at the Instagram camera. I keep forgetting to look at the YouTube camera.
Oh, no problem.
On YouTube, I think I'm just looking to the side.
It's very welcome. And then, people, there are different kinds of pitch. Pitch for you to talk about a product. I can make a pitch for selling this glass, or I can also make a pitch to sell a car, and I can introduce my company. It's also a pitch. So we have different kinds of pitch that we are also going to deliver on our workshop, So if you want to go deep inside the theme of communication, come in to talk to me about our workshop, because we are going to talk a little more about this during these weeks until October 1st.
Before the workshop, we're going to have the communication challenge.
Yes.
It's going to be 15 days of specific activities to help you improve your communication abilities in various areas.
Yes, that's what I'm going to tell you at the end of this live. So, people, if you want to go deeply on this content, talk to me about coming to our challenge, communication challenge, as Cliff told, from October 1st to October 15th, right? And at the end of this presentation, it's not going to be a long live. We want to talk about organization of a presentation, how to open and close a presentation. It depends on the situation you are, the public you are talking to, and would you like to say anything more, Cliff, about this, about organizing a presentation?
Basic idea. It's one of the basic ideas of public speaking. If I give you a well-structured presentation, you can understand my ideas better. So if I tell you today we are going to talk about 3 key concepts, and then in the body of my presentation, I walk you through the 3 concepts, then in the end of my presentation, I wrap up with a summary of the 3 concepts. This helps for me to memorize what I have to say because it's well organized. But it really helps the audience to understand the structure of what we're talking about. So it's a good idea to use a classic structure. Alan Alda we talk about him in our communication workshop. Alan Alda talks about the rule of 3. 3 is an easy number to understand. It's easy to intuit. And we can easily go first, second, third, or we can say in the beginning and then and finally. And the person can understand the ideas that you're passing more easily. They understand what they're supposed to expect. And if we, to jump quickly back to the hormonal idea, one of the things that you want to do in speaking is to trigger anticipation because it helps people remember. So when I tell you we're going to talk about 3 key ideas, we build the anticipation, we trigger the correct hormones in the brain, and we help our audience remember the ideas in the future.
So you see that we have a lot of things that can help you to achieve your goal of communication. So I want to talk to you how the communication challenge is going to work. First of all, we have already told you that each is 15 days, right? Sorry, people. And it is going to happen on WhatsApp. So you are going to receive the content every day on WhatsApp and a specific activity to be delivered. You have contact with Cliff and I all day long with these activities, but you are going to receive the theory and the activity for you to prepare and to introduce and to send to us and to share with your friends who are also on the challenge. And then we are going to have tips for better communication every day, feedback from us, and then imagine you did something completely wrong in your presentation. We are going to call you, of course, not in front of everybody, and tell, look, for example, Gisele talked something in a very wrong way. Gisele, this is wrong. You need to do like this. I mean, we are going to pay a lot of attention on the delivery of your presentation. You are going to have practical communication exercises every day for 15 days. Imagine how much your communication skills are going to improve, right? You are going to have a very nice, a very high improvement in your communication. And we are going also to deliver a certificate of participation. There are some colleges that always ask for extra activities. And of course, you can use this certificate to show your company that you have an English an English training, right? And then you are going to ask me, Andrea, but how can I participate? I didn't add on our Instagram, on our social media, the form yet, but I will add it tomorrow for people who are interested in this challenge. We are going to have a value, a very low value for you to participate, and it is 49 reais, 90 cents for you to participate in this 15-day challenge. So prepare yourself for better communication, prepare yourself to achieve your goals speaking English. Cliff, would you like to add something?
I think the cost is trivial.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more than 3 reais a day. It's a very, very low cost. You have a lot of interaction with us, and you have a lot of interaction with other people in the group, people around the country. And it is an excellent opportunity to begin to build your communication skills. Andrea has mentioned this before, but the communication challenge is only for people who are intermediate speakers and above.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
people, because the complete training is in English. If you are basic or elementary, you are not going to follow our thoughts. You are going to say, oh, I did some last year. I did a training, a communication training, and also a basic training. There were people from basic that bought the training for communication, and it doesn't work because you can't understand, because you don't have the knowledge to understand a communication, a very fast, a very dynamic, it's not fast, right? A very dynamic activity, a very dynamic challenge. Okay, so people, that's it for now. If you want to communicate in English better, talk to me. You can send me a direct if you want to talk to me today, and tomorrow I'm going to put the Google Forms for inscription, for subscription, for enrollment, in your challenge, right? So people see.
And of course, we'll be back next week to talk more about the topic.
And then I want to invite you, if you don't follow, if you are not subscribed on our YouTube channel, so go there and subscribe and follow our content. There are a lot of videos, grammar videos and tips, English tips videos there. Okay, it's Seminole English for Professionals. I'm Andrea. Introduce. And then see you soon, people.